children here, welcome. This is Church of Spirituality, starting a little bit early today. I'm Annette Dion. I am the host and founder of Church of Spirituality, the minister. And I wanted to get us together for a bit of a collective group meditation. And we're going to start shortly. And then right after that, we're going to go ahead and we're going to start our church service at 1 Eastern time. So in about, I think it's, let me see if I can get the correct time here. It is 12:47. So let's start with 10 to 12 minutes of silent meditation. And we will reconvene at 1. We're going to close our eyes and we're just going to be silent for 10 minutes, and people that just jump on will understand that we're meditating. So just find yourself in a quiet space. Make sure you won't be interrupted. You can certainly invite people to meditate with you. We're just going to create an atmosphere of stillness and do that for about 10 minutes. So I'll be right back. Hang on. So begin by taking some deep breaths, long, slow, deep inhalations. You can close your eyes. And even longer exhalations, just allowing yourself to settle in. I want to let you know that we're in a full moon time. So everything is magnified. There's really great intensity with all the events that are happening in the world right now. There's a kind of a higher, more intense vibration. So the full moon intensifies feelings. So just taking some deep breaths, eyes closed. I will let you know when the 10 minutes are finished. So we'll just go into the silent time. Appreciating the stillness and the present moment. We send our healing love and light to all those around the world who are in grief and mourning, to all those in the United States who are in grief at having lost loved ones on September 11th, 2001. May we remember the love that connected us on that fateful day. May we remember the courage and the strength of the human spirit that brought us together, the conviction and knowing that we are all connected and united. And we ask the higher powers to guide us, for God to guide us from this point into the future, to guide us and unite us, bringing us to a fuller awareness that we are one. Together we heal, together we grow, together we love, together we move forward into a new world, into a new way of living as one collective community of beings, agents of light and love that conquer the darkness. And so it is. And you can open your eyes, and we're going to just sort of readjust to our Church of Spirituality time. I'm Annette Dion. I'm the minister of the Church of Spirituality, and created December 6, 2020. And we meet every week, every Sunday at 1 Eastern time. And thank you for being here. We have a beautiful community of people, and it's growing. And if you'd ever like to receive the church program, just send an email to AnnetteDion7@gmail.com, and I can send you the church program each week. If it so happens that you've already sent an email and haven't received the program, please feel free to send me another email, because I may have missed it. Okay, so I will just play a little bit of music. Gives people a chance to get started, to get here and get started. And then we'll get into our regular service. Our theme for the month of September is Divine Protection, and the sermon today is God is with us through all trials. And we will, we'll start with a little bit of music. While I'm playing, just be sure that you're in a quiet place, and we all owe it to ourselves, and we do a great service to the collective energy. We owe it to ourselves to have quiet time, to reflect, spiritual time, and it's my own personal feeling that it's very important that we acknowledge important dates in history and important anniversaries, and also acknowledge that we are a collective energy, and what the world is going through, we're also feeling and going through ourselves, because we're all one. So with the passing of the Queen in England, there are a lot of people that are very much in grief, mourning the end of an era, the end of of an epic in history. No matter what you think about the monarchy, and it signifies a passage of an epic of history, which is daunting for people. So let's just be aware that, if you're feeling a little bit like wanting to be quiet and reflect, that's what's in the collective energy right now. Part of it. So, settle in. I'm just going to play 2 songs. Here's one you might know. Through all the tumult and the strife, I hear that music ringing. It finds an echo in my soul. How can I keep from singing? You probably know that one. Welcome to Church of Spirituality. We meet every week at 1 p.m. Eastern Time and live on YouTube, and you can always watch it afterwards too. Please take this time to settle yourself into a comfortable, peaceful space as we begin our sacred hour together. The spiritual mind treatment prayer today is a prayer for protection and healing in the United States and also around the world. Remembering that we are all connected, this prayer includes all of Earth's peoples. Healing one country contributes to the healing of all. God is all in all, the divine presence that is everywhere. There is no spot where God is not. We declare that we, the people of the United States, along with the rest of the world, are one with this divine presence. Divine order is working through the situations of divisiveness and appearances of hatred. We know and experience that everything is happening for the ultimate outcome of healing and rebirth everywhere and occurring right now. Darkness that has been visibly the case is now fully removed and dissolved. Those who are out picturing hatred and vitriol and divisiveness are now stopped in their tracks. We see evidence now that the light is presently in the process of eliminating evil, stopping all violence, healing and protecting this and all nations. Enemy countries that may have received United States secret information find that it has been rendered useless. Potential plans for further attacks are stopped. Harm really does not occur. Domestic terrorist extremist groups drop their arms and weapons, deciding that planning attacks on our nation is useless and simply not worth it. Collectively, we choose to have and to contribute to a country and to a world of peace. Justice is now in full operation and truth prevails, replacing all lies and negative rhetoric. We see the triumph of peace over conflict. Leaders who stand for love and unity prevail and win. Those who have stood for hatred and violence now fall from positions of power, according to the divine will. People everywhere demand and stand for the infinite power of love and interconnected harmony with one another. We eliminate from this prayer treatment any and all manifestations of fear, panic, doubt, worry, now and in the future. Negative emotions have lost all power. Negative outcomes simply do not happen. Positive occurrences and progress are the case, no matter the outward appearances. We work together as one country and one world to make America a safe and protected nation that is a beacon for a working democracy for the good of this nation and for the good of the world. America heals now and becomes better than ever before. As we release this treatment to the divine law of harmony and good, we give thanks that it is so, and so it is. And that is a spiritual mind treatment which I wrote just having learned how to write a form of affirmative prayer called the spiritual mind treatment in the tradition of Dr. Ernest Holmes. As I said, the theme for September is divine protection, and today's sermon is God is with us through all trials. So if the messages you received today are helpful and uplifting, please consider inviting someone to tune in with you, share the video, subscribe to this channel, and please, if you could, tap on the like button, the thumbs up. It helps the message to get to more people. We meet every single Sunday. I'm going to read our mission statement, and as I'm doing that, as we're getting ready for our closed eye meditation prayer time, feel free to put your prayer requests up in the chat. I think a lot of you know it's hard for me to see the chat, but there are people who need prayers, and feel free to post your prayers, and people in this community will pray for you. We believe that we are all connected to divine intelligence, continually moving through all of life and all living things. We remember to always align ourselves with this divine presence to create healing miracles in our own lives, positively affecting the lives of all of those we come into contact with, seen and unseen. We believe that the kingdom of heaven resides within each and every one of us, and that love is all there is. We know and acknowledge that we are one. And I want to read, since our theme for September is divine protection, here's a statement of affirmation from Ernest Holmes from the Science of Mind book, and it's called The Circle of Protection. We draw around us a circle of love and protection. No harm can enter nor find place within that charmed circle of life and love, for it represents God's loving care and eternal watchfulness. We will rest within now, and we will speak comfort to our souls and tell all the wonders of its life, safe from the din of strife and fear. We are protected from on high. Okay, so let's first do our healing chants that we sing every week, starting with All Is Well. They're really easy. If you're new here, they're really easy to learn, and it goes like this. We sing them 3 times. All is well, all is well, all is well. Again, all is well, 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 all is well. Okay, so let's go to I forgive everyone. I know that's a challenge for all of us, right? We see terrible things happening, and we may have had terrible things in our past. You know, we all go through something, right? That bring up feelings of maybe anger and resentment. If we want to be conduits for the high vibrational frequency of light and love and healing, we have to find ways to release those negative emotions, and this is helpful. I forgive everyone, forgive everyone, I forgive everyone, I forgive everyone, forgive everyone. With God's help, I forgive everyone, especially myself. And then we will sing we. We forgive everyone, we forgive everyone, we forgive everyone, forgive everyone, we forgive everyone. And with God's help, we forgive everyone, especially ourselves. One more time. We forgive everyone, forgive everyone, we forgive everyone, we forgive everyone, forgive everyone. With God's help, we forgive everyone, especially ourselves. For some reason, what popped into my mind was, as we were singing that, was our president right now. Somebody was heckling him. It's a really good example of just taking the, higher frequency. When he just said, let him go, let him go, let him go, let him say whatever he wants. Then he made a joke. But anyway, just an example of just letting it go so we can move forward. This is I move at God's pace and I receive God's guidance. God provides abundantly. I have no fear at all. And then we'll go to we for the last 2. I move at God's pace and I receive God's guidance. God provides abundantly. I have no fear at all. We move at God's pace and we receive God's guidance. God provides abundantly. We have no fear at all. We move at God's pace. We receive God's guidance. God provides abundantly. We have no fear at all. God provides abundantly. We have no fear at all. All right. God provides everything: guidance, protection, love, healing. So let us settle in for our prayer time. lots to pray about, and make sure your pets are okay and your children won't interrupt you. They can join you in the prayer time, and that you have a quiet space. Put your phone on Do Not Disturb. So before we go right into the prayer, you can close your eyes and I will play a chant to kind of get you settled in. It goes like this. We are one in spirit, we co-create with God. We lift our prayers up to the light, expanding love in thoughts. We are one in spirit, we co-create with God. We lift our prayers up to the light, expanding love in thoughts. Settling in to the breath, settling into the present moment, bringing all your focus to this moment. The past is history, the future is a mystery, right now is a gift, that's why we call it the present. All the focus on this moment. Long, slow, deep inhalations. Be still and know that I am God. As we settle into the stillness that is always available to us, we meet the stillness, settling in as we pray. Dear God, Holy Spirit, Divine Intelligence, Source of all life, Great Creator, we come together during this time of great intensity in the world, memories of loss, tragedy, grieving the end of certain times in history. We come to you, Divine, with full hearts, knowing we are servants, knowing we are here to connect with one another, knowing that to serve is to be divine, to serve from the fullness in our hearts and the love that we are. We ask, dear God, that you inspire us, that you motivate us, that you show us the way to truly give, not out of martyrdom, not out of a need for approval, out of being in the presence and sharing your presence. With these thoughts in mind, we lift up this world, knowing that no challenge is too great, knowing that ultimately all the events that are happening are opening us up to a new vibration of love, of light, of healing, no matter what anything looks like. We pray for the people in England who are mourning the passing of their figurehead, the Queen, a woman who symbolized the matriarch, the divine feminine, showing the magnificence of the feminine, We drop all negative associations. We look at people for who they were and what they presented to us from their hearts. All negative perceptions fall away as we honor the greatness that she was, Queen Elizabeth, and we honor the greatness of all those who have gone before us, who are continuing to guide our world, our nations, our governments. We ask, dear Lord, that more people come into the limelight, come into the spotlight, come into the public arena, that have dignity, decorum, respect, and a true, genuine desire and ability to be public servants to all. We ask you to ignite that in our own hearts. Make it brighter and bigger. We ask for solutions to global climate change. We ask for people to unite and come together to help, to demand from our governments to do what's needed. We ask for alternatives to fossil fuel burning to be prevalent all over the globe. All those who are suffering from natural disasters, including the people in Pakistan, the people in Mississippi who are still struggling to have the drinking water that they need. All the flooding and all over the country and the world that is happening. Please help us to help one another. Dear Lord, we know that there are people who are lonely, who are shut-ins, and elderly, that have nobody. Please increase the ways that others can connect with them and be with them. Help those who are suffering the loss of loved ones, especially on this traumatic day as we remember September 11th. Help them to know that they are not alone. Help us to remember this date in history. Let us never forget the ways we came together and healed and all the miracles that happened. Please show us the way to help our children and future generations heal the divisiveness and the hatred and the vitriol in the United States and throughout the world. Dear God, we ask that you stop the war on Ukraine. And we know that you are always working with us to stop human suffering. And let us take a moment to bring our own personal prayers to mind. As we lift our prayers up to the light, expanding loving thoughts, we give thanks that it is so, and so it is. Amen. Amen. Always feels good to pray. It always feels amazing to pray. Sometimes we have to remind ourselves, what do we want to do? We want to pray because it feels good. Feels right. And let's see. Where did I put my program? I will be right with you. Okay, so let's go to, thank you for joining me in that beautiful time of prayer. And the first reading is, so there's a book, and it's a compilation of all the memorial services at the 9/11 site and in Shanksville, Pennsylvania. There's a book, and the book has, here's my iPad, the book has excerpts from those ceremonies. And if you want to know more about that, I can let you know what the book is called. It's in the other room. And from that book, that is pretty much a compilation of all that was spoken at these memorial ceremonies about, for 9/11. Barack Obama read this from the Bible. So it's from Psalm 46. God is our refuge and strength, a very present help in trouble. Therefore we will not fear, even though the earth be removed, and though the mountains be carried into the midst of the sea, though its waters roar and be troubled, though the mountains shake with its swelling. There is a river, whose streams shall make glad the city of God, the holy place of the tabernacle of the Most High. God is in the midst of her, she shall not be moved. He uttered his voice, the earth melted. The Lord of hosts is with us, the God of Jacob is our refuge. Come behold the works of the Lord, who has made desolations in the earth. He makes wars cease to the end of the earth. He breaks the bow and cuts the spear in two. He burns the chariot in the fire. Be still and know that I am God. I will be exalted among the nations. I will be exalted in the earth. The Lord of hosts is with us. The God of Jacob is our refuge. Our first musical selection is one that I had to play this today because I wrote it shortly after September 11th, 2001. And it's called The Day the Whole World Changed, and I literally, in the first verse, so that's what was going on. And it goes like this. I really was sitting there and I really was reading the paper. It was the weekend after September 11th, 2001, when we were all digesting what had happened. And in the newspaper they had an entire page. I was in Tennessee, I was in Nashville, and they had an entire page of people who had died in the Twin Towers and Shanksville. And there was a photograph of a woman, and she was about my age, and underneath it said she was a spiritual counselor. And that song was birthed from that experience of seeing her picture in the paper, and she had perished in one of the Twin Towers, and I didn't write down her name, and I just had this moment for a moment I forgot you were not me, we were the same. So just to sort of depict the connectedness and the we all are connected to everything that happens. A lot of energy today. A lot of energy today. Oh my goodness. Okay, the next reading is You Learn by Living, and this is by Eleanor Roosevelt, Franklin Delano Roosevelt's wife. And it's called You Learn by Living. And she says, painfully, step by step, I learned to stare down each of my fears, conquer it, attain the hard-earned courage to go on to the next. Only then was I really free. Of all the knowledge that we acquire in life, this is the most difficult, but it is also the most rewarding. With each victory, no matter how great the cost or how agonizing at the time, there comes increased confidence and strength to help meet the next fear. I haven't ever believed that anything supported by fear can stand against freedom from fear. Courage is more exhilarating than fear, and in the long run it is easier. We do not have to become heroes overnight, just a step at a time, meeting each thing that comes up, discovering we have the strength to stare it down. And that's You Learn by Living from Eleanor Roosevelt. And I also took that from the book with the ceremonies, the readings from ceremonies for September 11th. Our next hymn, I think I'm going to change. So, there's so many good hymns. This is one that I played before, and it's fitting for today. Hatred. the Bible, passage in the Bible that is, shepherd me, O God, beyond my wants. God is my shepherd, there's nothing I shall want. So, yeah, a lot of somber energy in the world, but this is a time of just massive transformation. And it's a time for us to take stock of what's happening. And if people aren't taking stock of what's happening, it can lead to a lot of like sort of misplaced emotions and feelings of like, I don't know what's going on, but I'm confused and in chaos. So that we really do need to be in a place of acknowledging that there are some things that are pointing us as a world, as a collective energy, collective consciousness to that change is inevitable. It's what's always in place, and through the tumult, we are being called to find our center, and we're being called also to recognize and understand that I know it's cliche, but we are in this together, and that the only way that we can bring this world to a place of healing is by joining together and not being in the divisiveness. And I know that people here know and understand that. And sometimes, I'm remembering when Putin attacked Ukraine, and I kind of stopped and I kind of tuned in and prayed, like I'm sure we all did. And I just asked for a message, and the message that God gave me was, it's really important for the collective, the individuals to contribute to the collective energy of healing and stopping that war, is to check our own hearts for unforgiveness and for any hatred and any resentment that we may feel, because we're human beings and we all go through hatred and resentment and anger, and we would be not telling the truth if we said that wasn't the case, because we're emotional beings, and we really do a service to ourselves to acknowledge our emotions. And so as we say in the chant, I forgive everyone, and with God's help I forgive everyone, and especially myself. All that work is necessary to bring the frequency of the vibration of the planet to a higher frequency. And if we feel like we don't want to do the work for ourselves, sometimes it's a little easier to say, I'm going to do this for the collective. That's a way that personally I enter into meditation sometimes. If I do extra meditation, rather than just twice a day for a short time, if I do extra meditation, I want to just feel like I'm doing it for the collective energy. So collectively, when the war in Ukraine happened, I received that message that if the best thing that we could do energetically, and we're all energy, that's all we are, is to check our own hearts and see if we can come to a place of at least neutrality and not sending out more hatred, hateful vibrations. And that is a practice. All of this is practice. This is not, we're not in life for like drive-by spiritual healing, drive-by spiritual enlightenment. That's not what we're about. We are all, in a process. We're all projects. And life feels like a project a lot of the time. While we were meditating before we started the service, when we're doing our quiet time, I just kind of entered into my mind, because I think in my office is a little tiny black fly flying around, and all of a sudden I remembered a program that I was in with Sadhguru a long time ago, and we were at some kind of a place like a camp. We would have retreats at camps and campgrounds and that kind of thing. Anyway, we were inside a building, and Sadhguru was showing us, okay, here's how you meditate. And during that time, there was a fly in the room, and he just kind of closed his eyes, and we watched him, hold the position of he was just meditating, and there was a fly, and the fly landed right on his head, and it's kind of funny to think about, but I was sitting there going, how can he not be swatting that fly away from his nose? It just landed on his nose. and I'm just making the point in a funny way that is what it is to really be hanging on to the higher power, to the consciousness of God, to the stillness, is to be still. And when you're that still and you're that almost not connected to the fly, almost not connected to the what's going on. It's like being in the eye of the hurricane, where that's where the calm is. It's just no matter what's going on, can we hang on to that? The Lord is my strength and my refuge, and whom shall I be afraid? That is the practice. We're challenged with that all the time. It's like, can we really maintain when the going gets rough, when we're in the tumult? And can we extract ourselves from the fearful thinking? Are we willing to do that? Sometimes it just takes a willingness. Because I bring it up all the time, we live in a society that will cater to every single tiny or large fear that you have. We live in a society that just builds on it and builds on it and builds on it and tells you how bad it is and tells you, it's not going to get better, and you need to be afraid that you're going to run out of money. You need to be afraid that this inflation is going to take you down. You need to be afraid that you won't have any resources to heat your home in the winter if you're in a place that has winter. You need to be afraid that you're going to get this and you're going to get that. And I was watching something last night, and a commercial came on for some kind of pharmaceutical drug. And I was just kind of half asleep. I was just falling asleep, and it was on. And I was really aware that all these thoughts were going into my head about all the side effects from this drug. And I was just amazed. It went on. It must have gone on for a minute. Like, these are the things to take this drug. It might cause all these bad things to happen. It was bad. I think they said it even could cause death to take this particular prescription. And I just recognized, really and truly, how the level of pathos of that it's just, that is crazy. We are fed all this information, like, to avoid this terrible thing that could happen, do all this stuff. Just in case. And we forget how powerful and how resilient and how strong and how courageous we can be. Like Eleanor Roosevelt was saying, I'm going to read a little bit from what she said. Now this is in the 1940s. There was a lot going on. This was during World War II. She was an incredible woman. This statement was a little confusing. Let me decipher it. I haven't ever believed that anything supported by fear can stand against freedom from fear. In other words, our need for freedom from fear is a stronger energy. It's a stronger force. So we have to understand that when we go to the fear and when we worry about things that are going to happen, we are divinely protected. And we know that bad things happen all the time. Here we are, September 11th. Whoever expected that, all those innocent people, we know that those things happen. But it doesn't mean that God doesn't exist. And Eleanor Roosevelt goes on to say, we do not have to become heroes overnight, just a step at a time. Like I'm pointing to, it's practice. Meeting each thing that comes up, discovering we have the strength to stare it down, but not only that, we have the strength to conquer it. Whatever happens, we can handle it. God is with us through all the trials. Whatever happens, we can handle it. It's really important. I think it's an important practice to notice the miracles. We've been talking about that. Notice the miracles. The whole fact that we came out of 9/11, that we came out of it. I didn't think that we could do it. We all doubted during that time. If you were here on the planet, if you were old enough to remember that day. It was literally out of the blue. It was a crystalline blue sky. And the images of those airplanes crashing into those twin towers are images that are etched in our consciousnesses forever if we were there. During that time, I did not look at the television. I did not look at the twin towers collapsing until long after it had happened. I wanted to hold a space for being not in the trauma of it, because people, we needed to have people to hold that space to not be in the fear and the trauma. We're all here doing our job. I want to mention that we are stronger than we believe that we are, but we don't know. One of my favorite teachers, Tony Stone, said, and I know you may have heard this, the only way we can test the limits of what is possible is by going beyond them to the seemingly impossible. So we don't know how much we can do until we're met with something that we have to kind of push against and prove that the darkness cannot take us over. We have to be aware of the potential to get into divisiveness. We have to be aware that we can get caught up in the fear and the hatred. But to the best of our ability, it's really important for us to just take a stand for healing and for love. We can handle what's coming our way if we're not contributing to the divisiveness, and that means the divisiveness in our thinking. One of the things that Sadhguru said after September 11th, we were having a gathering, we were having a satsang, and I know when I asked the question that was on everybody's minds, what do we do with this? We called him Jaggy at the time. Jaggy, what do we do with this? What do we do with what just happened in this country? And he cautioned us. He said the worst thing that we can do as a nation, America, is to get into an us versus them mindset. He said that is the absolute worst thing that we can do. And we remember the heinousness of people lumping all Muslims into the category of terrorists, which was the worst thing that we could do. And then we got into this us against them thing. That was the worst thing that we could have done. We do the best that we can with the level of evolution that we're at. But let us, since things are different now, let us embrace the new frequencies, the new energies that are coming in, the new divine healing energies. They're new. There are more people with a higher consciousness happening on the planet right now. And that's our protection. We can do this. We can go beyond where we've ever thought we could go before. So God is with us through all the trials. God is with the people of England. God is with the people in Ukraine. I know sometimes it's not a walk in the park. That's why we have to have our walks in the park to get through. So together we are amazingly powerful. When darkness occurs, that's the time for us to show how light and how powerful the love can be. We are all agents of the light. We're all AOLs. We're all agents of light. We're here to be agents of light. So let's not be lazy and not do our duties. So, someone's going for a walk at the park today. It's not a walk in the park, this life, but walks in the park really help. So, I leave you with that and thank you for listening. We're not finished. We do want to go to our time of giving gifts and thanksgiving. This is your opportunity to express the abundance of God in lieu of monetary donations to me. I do not accept donations for this church. This church is a labor of love. Please give to the International Rescue Committee to help Ukrainian refugees who need food, water, and shelter. We must contribute to Sadhguru's worldwide Save Soil initiative. Go to savesoil.org. There's some really fascinating scientific information if you go to savesoil.org and jump on board with this initiative to save the world's topsoils, because it saves us from world hunger. In the United States, please donate to organizations that are working to stop gun violence and to protect women's rights and voting rights. And as a reminder, if you're in the United States, it's essential to our democracy that we financially support candidates for public office that are working for the public good of all. Please give any amount that you can. Just look them up. Thank you for your caring and compassion for others and for our sacred planet that is in desperate need of healing. Our prayer of thanksgiving is, Dear God, thank you for making us more aware of what we have that we can give to make a difference in this troubled world. Please help us to look deeply into our hearts, to see that we can always give more. Help us to see that you make our supply infinite, granting us the inspiration and courage to be a more generous people. Thank you for the bounty which we receive. Amen. And our final hymn is, excuse me. I'm going to play our final hymn before we say our final prayer. And you may remember this one. When I do have time left over, I like to end after an hour. We do play this one. It only takes a spark to get a fire going. Soon all those around can warm up in its glowing. That's how it is with God's love. Once we've experienced it, we spread His love to everyone. We want to pass it on. We wish for you, our friends, this happiness that we found. We can depend on Him. It matters not where we're bound. We'll shout it from the mountaintops. We want the world to know the Lord of love has come to us. We want to pass it on. The Lord of love has come to us. We want to pass it on. The Lord of love has come to us. We want to pass it on. Let us pass it on. The world needs more love. Let's all spread the love. I do want to mention that on Tuesday nights we have a meeting. It's called 20 on Tuesdays. It's a guided meditation time, and for people in the United States, we are praying for and visualizing. It's a guided meditation. We're visualizing a healed United States of America, to heal the divisiveness and the potential for violence. We're going to heal that. That's what we're doing. We've been doing that for a while. To receive a Zoom invite to our Tuesday meetings, send an email to AnnetteDion7@gmail.com and type 20 in the subject line. It's the same email address to send me a request for the church program. And on that note, the meetings for Grassroots of Democracy. Democracy was founded on spiritual principles. We need to save it, so send an email to grassrootsofdemocracy@gmail.com. Type AYE in the subject line, I, that's how they vote in Congress. And please join us for our meetings to help save our democracy. Time is of the essence. And let us close with our reading that we do every week from Ernest Holmes' The Science of Mind. Definitely worth getting the book, The Science of Mind. It's great, great, awesome stuff. And you should know this one by now. Read it every week. Deep breath. Through the long night watches, God's hand clasps ours. At the break of dawn, God's hand clasps ours. In the daytime of work and endeavor, from eternity to eternity, God's hand clasps ours. When time shall have passed, when eternity shall be strewn about like falling petals, and space and worlds shall be swallowed up in everlasting blessedness, God's hand shall clasp ours, and so it is. Go in peace, be peace, and pray for peace. Thank you so much for joining us today. It means a lot. It means a lot to me. It means a lot to everybody here. Please share this with other people so that we can grow this community of healing. And please have a blessed week. May peace prevail on earth. God bless the Queen. Good day.